अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय. Welcome all to today's online Sahavas program organized by Avatar Meher Baba Hyderabad Center. అవతార్ మెహర్ బాబా హైదరాబాద్ సెంటర్ వారు నిర్వహిస్తున్నటువంటి నేటి ఆన్లైన్ సహవాస్ కార్యక్రమానికి అందరికీ స్వాగతం. ముందుగా నమో మెహర్ బాబా ప్రార్థనా గీతంతో మన కార్యక్రమం ప్రారంభమవుతుంది.
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। नमो मेहर बाबा अवतार नमो देव देवा। नमो मेहर बाबा अवतार नमो देव देवा। प्रभु नमो मेहर बाबा अवतार नमो देव देवा। अपार दिव्या कृपा सागरा अपार दिव्या कृपा सागरा सकल चराचर जगदोद्धार सकल चराचर जगदोद्धार नमो मेहर बाबा अवतार नमो देव देवा। प्रभु नमो मेहर बाबा अवतार नमो देव देवा। जोहारुलिवे श्री मेहर बाबा जोहारुलिवे श्री मेहर बाबा। महिनि जनिंचिन मानव रूपा महिनि जनिंचिन मानव रूपा। इह परानंद जीवन मीवा इह परानंद जीवन मीवा। भव भय भंजन परम पावना भव भय भंजन परम पावना। नमो मेहर बाबा अवतार नमो देव देवा। प्रभु नमो मेहर बाबा अवतार नमो देव देवा। अज्ञानांधतंत मुझे सी अज्ञानांधतंत मुझे सी। दिव्य विज्ञान दृष्टि नो संगी दिव्य विज्ञान दृष्टि नो संगी। हरिषड्वर्गमु अंतरिंपगा हरिषड्वर्गमु अंतरिंपगा। अव्यय मोक्षं अनुग्रहिंपु अव्यय मोक्षं अनुग्रहिंपु। नमो मेहर बाबा अवतार नमो देव देवा। प्रभु नमो मेहर बाबा अवतार नमो देव देवा। जय मेहर बाबा जय 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 जय मेहर बाबा जय। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।
Today's program schedule is as follows. We have Bhajans till 6:25 in various languages, and we have Tom and Cathy Riley from Myrtle Beach, United States with us, and there will be a talk by Tom, and after that the gist of his talk will be translated into Hindi or Telugu. And at 7:25 music by Cathy Riley, and at 7:40 Beloved Baba's film show. Then Naam, Dhun, silence, prayers and Arti follows. ఈ రోజు కార్యక్రమం వివరాలు 6:25 వరకు ఈ భజనల కార్యక్రమం ఉంటుంది. ఆ తర్వాత టామ్, క్యాథీ రైలీ మెటల్ బీచ్ యునైటెడ్ స్టేట్స్ నుంచి మనతో పాటు ఈ కార్యక్రమంలో పాల్గొంటున్నారు. వారి యొక్క ప్రసంగం అలాగే వారి యొక్క పాటలు కొన్ని ఉంటాయి. ఆ తర్వాత ప్రీతం బాబా యొక్క ఫిలిం షో, నామ్, ధున్, సైలెన్స్, ప్రేయర్స్ మరియు ఆర్తి. अब हैदराबाद से प्रणीता मेहर एक हिंदी भजन गाएंगे.
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय. भजू मैं जब तक सांस है इस तन में, मेहर का प्यारा नाम मेहर का प्यारा. भजू मैं जब तक सांस है इस तन में, नाम मेहर का प्यारा नाम मेहर का प्यारा. मैं अति पापी मेहर प्रभु मुझे आया शरण तुम्हारी, तुम ही मेरे सब कुछ हो पर हाथ न मैंने खोली. जब संभला तब राह में खोया, जब संभला तब राह में खोया, पाए न कोई ठिकाना. नाम मेहर का प्यारा नाम मेहर का प्यारा. है ना कोई मेरा सहारा, कोई न है रखवाला. मुझ दुखी पे दया बताना, मुझे ना ठुकराना. अब तुम बन के खिवैया, अब तुम बन के खिवैया, डूब न पाए नैया. नाम मेहर का प्यारा नाम मेहर का प्यारा. नाम चाहूं सुख दुनिया के, पर सुना झूठे भव में. मोहन मुझे सोय प्रभु मुझे, काम क्रोध चल जाए. बहुकाल बीता अब तो कर लो, बहुकाल बीता अब तो कर लो, नाथ को बाबा बना. नाम मेहर का प्यारा नाम मेहर का प्यारा. भजू मैं जब तक सांस है इस तन में, नाम मेहर का प्यारा नाम मेहर का प्यारा. नाम मेहर का प्यारा नाम मेहर का प्यारा. अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।
జై బాబా ప్రణీత. మెహర్ అభయ్ శ్రీకాకుళం నుండి ఇప్పుడు ఒక తెలుగు భజన పాడతారు.
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय. अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय. ఎవరి మెహరు బాబా ఎంతందగాడో ఎంతందగాడో. ఎవరి మెహరు బాబా ఎంతందగాడో ఎంతందగాడో. అవని ఈతని సాటి అందగాడున్నాడా. అవని ఈతని సాటి అందగాడున్నాడా. ఎవరి మెహరు బాబా ఎంతందగాడో ఎంతందగాడో. ఎన్నడు కనలేదే ఈ దివ్య సౌందర్యం. పున్నమి చంద్రుడు చిన్నబోతాడేమో. ఎన్నడు కనలేదే ఈ దివ్య సౌందర్యం. పున్నమి చంద్రుడు చిన్నబోతాడేమో. మగవారలే ప్రేమ మత్తులో పడుతుండ. మగవారలే ప్రేమ మత్తులో పడుతుండ. మగువలు ఇంకెంత రాగమయులవుతారో. ఎవరి మెహరు బాబా ఎంతందగాడో ఎంతందగాడో. భూలోకవాసుడా భువనైక సుందరుడు. ఏ లోకముల నుండి ఈడకాలిడినాడో. భూలోకవాసుడా భువనైక సుందరుడు. ఏ లోకముల నుండి ఈడకాలిడినాడో. గుండె లోతులలోన గురి పెట్టి చూస్తాడు. గుండె లోతులలోన గురి పెట్టి చూస్తాడు. గుండె నిండా ప్రేమ గుమ్మరించేస్తాడు. ఎవరి మెహరు బాబా ఎంతందగాడో ఎంతందగాడో. చీకటి చింతలను చెదరగొట్టే నవ్వు. చేరుకుందామన్న చేరలేని దవ్వు. చీకటి చింతలను చెదరగొట్టే నవ్వు. చేరుకుందామన్న చేరలేని నవ్వు. కరుణా కటాక్షముతో వరమివ్వగల ప్రభువు. కరుణా కటాక్షముతో వరమివ్వగల ప్రభువు. పరున్న గేహములో పదమైన మోపడు. ఎవరి మెహరు బాబా ఎంతందగాడో ఎంతందగాడో. 14 లోకముల ప్రభువునేనంటాడు. వేదాంతి వలె తాను బోధించనంటాడు. 14 లోకముల ప్రభువునేనంటాడు. వేదాంతి వలె తాను పర్వతిగారని షిరిడి సాయి సూక్తి. వర్దిగారని షిరిడి సాయి సూక్తి. పరబ్రహ్మమేనని పరమ గురువుల సూక్తి. పరబ్రహ్మమేనని పరమ గురువుల సూక్తి. ఎవరి మెహరు బాబా ఎంతందగాడో ఎంతందగాడో. ఎవరి మెహరు బాబా ఎంతందగాడో ఎంతందగాడో. अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।
जय बाबा भाई। दमन प्रज्ञा से शुभम एक मराठी भजन गाएंगे।
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। कोण जाणी मोक्ष काय होय मुक्ती, कोण जाणे मोक्ष काय होय मुक्ती, आम्हा प्रिय भक्ती मेहराची, आम्हा प्रिय भक्ती मेहराची, कोण जाणे मोक्ष काय होय मुक्ती, कोण जाणे मोक्ष। काय रिद्धी सिद्धी देतील याहुनी, काय रिद्धी सिद्धी देतील याहुनी, जे सुख ध्यानी मेहराच्या, जे सुख ध्यानी मेहराच्या, कोण जाणे मोक्ष काय होय मुक्ती, कोण जाणे मोक्ष। लख लाभ देवा सुख स्वर्गीची, लख लाभ देवा सुख स्वर्गीची, धनी विश्वाची आम्हा पाशी, धनी विश्वाची आम्हा पाशी, कोण जाणे मोक्ष काय होय मुक्ती, कोण जाणे मोक्ष काय होय मुक्ती, आम्हा प्रिय भक्ती मेहराची, आम्हा प्रिय भक्ती मेहराची, कोण जाणे मोक्ष। भक्ती माझे सारे साठविल बर्मा, भक्ती माझे सारे साठविल बर्मा, जाणून या मर्मा सुटले कैक, जाणून या मर्मा सुटले कैक, कोण जाणे मोक्ष काय होय मुक्ती, कोण जाणे मोक्ष काय होय मुक्ती, आम्हा प्रिय भक्ती मेहराची, आम्हा प्रिय भक्ती मेहराची, कोण जाणे मोक्ष। ऐसे वाटे जीवा भजनी रमावे, ऐसे वाटे जीवा भजनी रमावे, गुण तुझे गावे जन्मोजन्मी, गुण तुझे गावे जन्मोजन्मी, कोण जाणे मोक्ष काय होय मुक्ती, कोण जाणे मोक्ष काय होय मुक्ती, आम्हा प्रिय भक्ती मेहराची, आम्हा प्रिय भक्ती मेहराची, कोण जाणे मोक्ष। मधुसूदना दे हेच निरंतर, मधुसूदना दे, मधुसूदना दे हेच निरंतर, तुझे अंतर पडोनी दी, तुझे अंतर पडोनी दी, कोण जाणे मोक्ष काय होय मुक्ती, कोण जाणे मोक्ष काय होय मुक्ती, आम्हा प्रिय भक्ती मेहराची, आम्हा प्रिय भक्ती मेहराची, कोण जाणे मोक्ष कौन जाने मोक्ष, कौन जाने मोक्ष। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।
జై బాబా శుభం. నిజామాబాద్ నుండి చిన్నారి రిత్విక ఒక తెలుగు భజన పాడుతుంది.
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। शहरियार శ్రీను బానులను పండగను మెహర్ బాబా మౌనావతారుడు మై జనించెను మేలు కొల్పగను ఈ మహి జనించెను మేలు కొల్పగను షహరియారు శ్రీను బానులను పండగను మెహర్ బాబా మౌనావతారుడు మహి జనించెను మేలు కొల్పగను ఈ మహి జనించెను మేలు కొల్పగను విశ్వభారము మోయనుల్లక విశ్వ విముని చేరి సద్గురు పంచకం విశ్వభారము మోయనుల్లక విశ్వ విముని చేరి సద్గురు పంచకం విన్నవింప ప్రసన్నుడై ఇలా అవతరించ శ్రీను బానుత నోజుడై విన్నవింప ప్రసన్నుడై ఇలా అవతరించ శ్రీను బానుత నోజుడై షహరియార్ శ్రీను బానులను పండగను మెహర్ బాబా మౌనావతారుడు మహి జనించెను మేలు కొల్పగను ఈ మహి జనించెను మేలు కొల్పగను యుగ యుగంబున అవసరంబున జగతిపై జనించునాతడు మనజుడై యుగ యుగంబున అవసరంబున జగతిపై జనించునాతడు మనజుడై ప్రగతిలో ప్రతిహృదయమందున ప్రేమ బీజము నాటిచనే ప్రసన్నుడై ప్రగతిలో ప్రతిహృదయమందున ప్రేమ వీరము నాటిచనే ప్రసన్నుడై షహరియార్ శ్రీను బానులను పండగను మెహర్ బాబా మౌనావతారుడు మహి జనించెను మేలు కొల్పగను ఈ మహి జనించెను మేలు కొల్పగను అహంకారమునచునాతడు ఇహ పరార్థములిచ్చునాతడు ఎవరికి అహంకారమునచునాతడు ఇహ పరార్థములిచ్చునాతడు ఎవరికి సర్వము తాననచు నమ్మి ఆశ్రయించిన వారికి సర్వము తాననచు నమ్మి ఆశ్రయించిన వారికి తన శరణు కోరిన వారికి తన శరణు కోరిన వారికి షహరియార్ శ్రీను బానులను పండగను మెహర్ బాబా మౌనావతారుడు మహి జనించెను మేలు కొల్పగను ఈ మహి జనించెను మేలు కొల్పగను ఈ మహి జనించెను మేలు కొల్పగను అవతార్ మెహర్ బాబా కీ జై.
జై బాబా రిత్విక. ఇప్పుడు టామ్ రైలీ యొక్క ప్రసంగం ఉంటుంది. సోదరులు కళ్యాణ్ మెహర్ ఆయన గురించి కొన్ని పరిచయ వాక్యాలు మనకు చెప్పి వారి యొక్క ప్రసంగాన్ని తెలుగు మరియు హిందీ భాషలోకి అనువదిస్తారు. ఓవర్ టు యూ బ్రదర్ కళ్యాణ్ మెహర్.
అవతార్ మెహర్ బాబా కీ జై. బాబా ఈ ఆన్లైన్ సహవాస రూపంలో మనకి తన తన్నలి ప్రేమలో ఎన్నో అవకాశాలు కల్పించారండి. బాబాని కలిసిన పాశ్చాత్యక ప్రేమికుల్లో సశరీరులుగా బాబాని దర్శనం చేసుకున్న వారిలో టామ్ రైలే ఒకరు. ఈరోజు టామ్ మరియు క్యాథీ రైలే మర్టిల్ బీచ్ USA నుంచి మన మధ్య ఈ ఆన్లైన్ వేదిక పైన ఉన్నారు. టామ్ 1958లో మర్టిల్ బీచ్ లో మొట్టమొదటిసారిగా బాబా దర్శన భాగ్యాన్ని పొందారు. ఆ తరువాత 1962 గురుప్రసాద్ పూనాలో ఉన్న ఈ భవనంలో జరిగిన ఈస్ట్ వెస్ట్ గ్యాదరింగ్ లో మరొకసారి ఆ దర్శన భాగ్యాన్ని పొందారు. ఈ రోజు బాబా దగ్గరికి ఆయన ప్రయాణం ఏ రకంగా సాగిందో దాని గురించి మనకి చెప్తారు. వీరు ఇరువురు కూడా టామ్ మరియు క్యాథే కళాకారులు. టామ్ ఒక చిత్రకారుడు మరియు కథకుడు కూడా. సో ఆయన ద్వారానే స్వయంగా బాబాని కలిసిన సన్నివేశాన్ని విందాం. అలాగే క్యాథీ 1972 సంవత్సరంలో బాబా పరిధిలోకి రావడం జరిగింది. తన యొక్క మధుర గానంతో ఎంతో మంది ప్రేమికుల్ని ఆనందింపజేశారు. తర్వాత మర్టిల్ బీచ్ లో ఒక కార్యకర్తగా ఎన్నో సంవత్సరాలు తన యొక్క సహాయాన్ని అందించారు. ఎలిజబెత్, కిట్టి డేవి మరియు మార్గరెట్ వారి సన్నిహిత సాంగత్యంలో ఎన్నో సంవత్సరాలు గడిపారు. దాన్ని పురస్కరించుకుని దిల్ రుబా డేస్ అని ఒక పుస్తకం కూడా రాశారు. ఈ రోజు టామ్ ప్రసంగిస్తారు. ఆ తర్వాత క్యాథే కొన్ని పాటలు పాడతారు. अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय. आज हमारे बीच बाबा के कृपानुसार टॉम एवं कैथी रैले इस ऑनलाइन सहवास में हमारे साथ हैं. मर्टिल बीच USA से ये हमें ऑनलाइन सहवास में आज भाग ले रहे हैं. टॉम पाश्चात्य प्रेमियों में बाबा जब सशरीर रूप थे उस समय उन्होंने दर्शन भाग्य पाया बाबा का. 1958 में उन्होंने पहली बार बाबा का दर्शन किया मर्टिल बीच में. उसके उपरांत 1962 में ईस्ट वेस्ट गैदरिंग में बाबा के दर्शन का सौभाग्य इन्होंने फिर से पाया. टॉम और कैथी दोनों ही कलाकार हैं. कैथी मधुर गायन करती हैं. आज टॉम से उनके बाबा के पास आने का जो सफर रहा उसके बारे में सुनते हैं और वैसे ही साथ में कैथी के कुछ गाने भी सुनते हैं. आइए. टॉम एंड कैथी, on behalf of the Baba family on this YouTube live channel, we welcome you. It's a great pleasure of having your company. The dais is yours for the next few minutes. Over to you. You may have to unmute your channel, Cathy. I think your microphone is muted. Please unmute.
That okay? Is that?
We can hear you now. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. So,
How do we begin?
where do you begin?
When do
Okay.
I start?
Now you can begin. Jai Baba. Jai Baba.
Hey, Baba.
Okay. So, start. You were.
Should I begin talking?
Oh yes, yes, yes.
Yes, please. Jai Baba. All viewers can view you, Tom and Cathy. They can view you. However, view and hear you as well. You cannot probably see them. So, but then we can just go ahead and start. Thank you so much.
Go ahead and start. And
All right.
loudly.
I discovered Meher Baba when I was in my early 20s in Woodstock, New York, which is about 100 miles north of New York City. And I was at college at the time, and it was in the fall of the year, and I was in serious need of income. So I phoned my sister in Woodstock, New York, and asked her to put an ad in the local newspaper that I was available for work, for handyman work. She put the ad in the paper, and someone responded. As soon as I returned home from New York City, someone called on the telephone, and it was a man who had just come in from California to sell the family home in Woodstock, and they needed help packing up things in the home. So I went over to their home, and what did I do?
Packing the library.
Yeah, the first job, the first work I had was the movers had left many boxes to pack up all the books in a big library room. So I began packing the books, and I would take 4, 5, 6 books off the shelf and put them in the boxes. And at one point, I put a stack of books into the box, and there on the cover of this magazine was this photograph of Meher Baba.
Let's show. Yeah. Okay. Higher, a little higher. Yeah. Good. Okay.
So I was fascinated by the photograph, and it so happened that at college I was taking a course in Indian philosophy from an Indian professor. His name was Sabod Chandra Roy. Wonderful, wonderful man. And when I opened the magazine, when I was packing up the books, I opened up the magazine with Baba's face on the cover, and it was all about whatever Meher Baba had said, articles by and about him. And I was so fascinated by what I read, because I had been studying Indian philosophy, that I went to the violinist. He had been a child prodigy, and he was quite famous. And I went to him and asked, who is this person? And I showed him that photograph of Meher Baba, and he began to tell me all about him, because he had been writing movie music in Hollywood way back in the early 1930s. He was a very young man. So, as I say, he had met Meher Baba. This was back in 1932. And, he had taken a motor trip around Hollywood with Meher Baba and others. And
so he was telling you this in 1954?
Yeah, this was 1954 that he is telling me all about his connection with Meher Baba. Baba liked him very much, and
And then it was not until he told you all about meeting Baba.
He told me about how he met him,
and then it wasn't until 1956.
So a great deal of time. It was 2 years later. No, it was in 54 that I happened to be. Did I tell that about being
yes.
saw Baba's photo?
Yes.
So in 1956, Dr. Roy.
You went to the bookstore. You went to the bookstore and saw Baba's book.
Yeah, I was at a large bookstore near my college, and there on a tall post was a picture of Meher Baba, and under it said, recently off the press, God Speaks. So I was fascinated, so I bought the book and read the book twice. I was so utterly fascinated by what I read. It was a holiday. I was not at school. I had about a week off. It was called Thanksgiving holiday. I read the book twice. And when I was back at college a few days later, I told Dr. Roy about the book and how fascinated I was. And he, although he was totally blind, he came from an affluent Indian family, and in spite of being blind from the age of 8 years old, he became totally blind. But in spite of that, he received a doctorate degree in philosophy from Oxford University. He was just an amazing, wonderful person. So I told him about God Speaks, and he had someone read the book, for he always had someone to read for him. Someone read God Speaks for him. He was so overwhelmed that he was just amazed at what he read. And the evening that he finished having the book read to him, he was at a social gathering at someone's apartment in New York City. And who was there at the party but two women? One of them, her name was Belle Walton, and the other was Phyllis Frederick. They were at this gathering, and they had met Meher Baba. And he was fascinated, absolutely fascinated. And the next time I saw him, he told me about these two women. And it was through them that I came in touch with the people who were connected to Meher Baba in New York City. And they had Monday evening meetings every week. And I attended these meetings and met two wonderful people from Germany, Fred and Ella Winterfeld. And I longed every Monday evening to be at their meetings. So time passed, and now it's approaching 1958, and Baba is coming to America. And he arrived in New York City, and it was there that I had the opportunity. A great program was formed at the Meher Center in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. This is 1958. So all of us from New York, people from Europe, people from California, people from all over the United States came to Myrtle Beach. There must have been 225 people, some from Germany, England, France, Spain. They were from all over. It was amazing. And there was a building in the middle of this place in Myrtle Beach, which was a special gathering place for people on the ocean, next to the ocean. And all of us were gathered there with Meher Baba. And there was a small cabin, and Baba situated himself in that cabin every morning. And every afternoon. And we gathered and communicated with each other just close to Meher Baba, who was within the cabin. And at one point, one of his close people, a woman from England named Margaret Krask, suddenly came out of the cabin, and we knew she had something important to say. And I was with my wife at that time, Yvonne, she is no longer living. She died in an automobile accident. But she and I were outside the cabin, and suddenly Margaret Krask appeared.
First you were together invited in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, no, I'm telling how Margaret
came later. Margaret was the next day. Yeah. Okay, so first you were invited in, John Bass. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we were invited into the cabin to be with Meher because there were several of us who had never met him before. Amongst all of these people, there were 225 people. We were invited into the cabin, and we knelt before Meher Baba, and he extended his hand to us, and we kissed his hand. And he said to us through his non-belief narrative, anything to ask or anything to say. And I said to him, Baba, there are such barriers in the He nodded his head knowingly and said, one commandment I give you, don't worry. And I wondered, what does that mean? So more questions were asked. Baba responded, and at the end of these few moments with him, I was leaving the cabin, approaching the door, when I thought to myself, how could he possibly help? And at that very instant, I heard you interpreting Baba's gestures. Nariman, I'm sorry. Nariman, interpreting Baba's gestures, said in response to my question, how could he possibly help? Nariman said, responding to Baba's gestures, I will help you. And that was absolutely amazing. So what happens?
The next day,
all of us, the 225 of us, were gathered outside what's called the lagoon cabin. We were gathered outside the cabin, communicating with each other just to be close to Baba physically. And Margaret Krask, an older Baba lover from England, had been briefly in the cabin, and she came out and stood in front of the cabin. We were across the little roadway, all of us, and everyone knew she had something important to say. So we all focused our attention upon her, and she said, Meher Baba wishes to see Tom Riley now. Oh, I was amazed. I immediately walked across the little roadway and stood next to Margaret. And she said, all she said to me was, when you go into the cabin, don't forget to remove your shoes. She walked away. And as soon as she walked away, there was a transformation in my consciousness, sacredness, holiness surrounding me completely. It was as though I was in heaven. And I made my way over, and she had said to me just before leaving, when you enter the cabin, before you enter, take off your shoes. So I went to the holiness.
Tom, can you please come closer to the laptop?
Yes. Yes.
Can you please come
Yes.
a bit closer to the laptop?
Yes, you have to speak closer to the microphone. So,
Holiness was all around me. And in that state of sacredness, I opened the cabin door and I was astounded because the whole room was a small room. The whole room was filled with and sacredness and holiness was all around me as I entered the room. And there in the very middle of the room, sitting in a simple armchair, was Meher Baba. And he was radiating this sacredness, and he was so happy to see me. And he extended his hand to me. I walked over to him, and took his hand, and kissed his hand. And he took his hand and placed it on the top of my head and closed his eyes. And oh, I can't explain to you what a sacred experience it was. Within this pulsating, vibrating silver light, and I never experienced such sacredness in my entire life. And he took his hand and put it on top of me. To walk to the door. And I opened the door, and looked at him once again, and sacredness just entered my whole being. That walked all the way to the ocean, which was a quarter of a mile away. I had forgotten my shoes. I walked in my bare feet all the way to the ocean. When I came back, maybe 25 minutes later, Baba was standing outside the cabin with his mandali, Adi Irani, Naam, and he was right here. So that was my first sacred.
now can we find out if you can hear well or not? Are you hearing Tom's voice?
Yeah, it's going in and out, Cathy.
In and out. Shall I
Yes.
shall I try to see if I can put him on the our microphone and see if that makes a difference?
Yes, please.
Or should we just have some music, or what would you suggest? Because I know Tom does have a low voice, and we usually put
Yes.
have an amplifier when he speaks here in Myrtle Beach.
I see. So whenever he's speaking loud, hear it well.
Say that again. Sorry.
So whenever Tom is loud, at that point, we can hear it well.
Yeah, our connection is breaking up pretty badly here, so I'm not hearing you very well. Let's see. So, would you like? I'm thinking, should I? What should we do?
Yeah, I think the
Should we
disturbance
try
is
them up?
intermittent, Cathy. So if Tom can come as close as possible to the speaker of the laptop, I think that's the
Say
that's
that
the
again.
only.
Sorry.
Yeah, if Tom can come, as close as possible to the laptop speaker, to the microphone. That's the.
Okay, so
Yeah,
Tom,
if it's not.
try to speak into here. Let's see if you can lean in toward the speaker. Okay, so we could try this.
How is that? Any better?
Yes, we can see you now.
What's
This is
that?
good. Thank you.
Okay, so yes, okay. So
Yeah.
so now, would you tell something about the East-West gathering? The laundry story, maybe? In Myrtle Beach, that there's a beautiful story about the laundry, Baba's laundry.
Yeah. At Myrtle Beach.
Okay, lean in.
At the Myrtle Beach Baba Center, at that very same location where I first stood outside of the cabin with Baba within the cabin, we were gathered together again, all of us, 225 people, communicating with each other. It was lunchtime, and Baba was, where was Baba?
Baba was probably at his house.
Yeah, he was at his house. And this was during the middle of the day when Baba was having lunch, and we were gathered together, communicating with each other. And I was talking with Adi Irani, and many, many people were there. And as we were talking with each other, a woman came up the steps from the lake, which was below the cabin, and she was carrying a basket. And in the basket was some laundry, articles of clothing. And she stopped near Adi and me and began to communicate with someone. And there was a young fellow, a young Englishman, who happened to be standing nearby, and this was Kitty Davy, also from England, who had the laundry basket. And she was communicating, she was talking with a friend close by, right next to Adi and me, and she was carrying a basket full of white cotton laundry. And the young Englishman was standing right next to Kitty, and I noticed as I was talking to Adi that he leaned over and was smelling the laundry. And he suddenly said to Kitty, "Excuse me, Kitty, could you tell me whose laundry is this?" And she stopped her conversation with an individual, and she said, "This is Baba's laundry. I'm taking it to be washed and dried at the laundry. I'm taking it to be washed and dried nearby." And then he looked a little puzzled and he said, "Does Meher Baba use perfume?" And she was all upset.
Say that again, please.
"Does Meher Baba use perfume?" And she said, "Oh, Meher Baba, oh." And Adi immediately said very loudly, "What are you talking about? Meher Baba has never used perfume in his life. That is his natural fragrance." And everybody was amazed.
Loudly.
And I leaned over and smelled, and it was the most marvelous sweet smell. And that was Meher Baba's natural fragrance. And I must say that as time went on 2 or 3 more occasions, just being close to Baba, I myself was aware of that marvelous, wonderful fragrance which one experienced being close to him. Yeah.
So, before Tom shares stories of the East-West gathering, could you tell us, is this sound any better in your meeting?
Yes, Cathy, we can continue. We can hear it well.
Continue?
Yes, please. We can continue.
Yeah. So,
What's next?
1962.
Oh, yes. 1962.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are. I arrived in India because I took a ship. I did not take an aeroplane. I took a ship from New York City to Bombay. And because of this, I didn't intentionally do this, but the ship arrived 2.5 weeks before any of the other Baba lovers from Europe and America. And fortunately, I had Meherji's telephone number with me. And when I arrived in Bombay on the ship, I immediately phoned Meherji. And he told me exactly what train to take from Bombay to Pune. And he met me at the train station in Pune and took me to the wonderful old Pune Hotel. And it's a wonderful old hotel, and I was I think it was the very next morning while I was at the hotel, I was reading, it was quite early in the morning, and I had taken a walk and returned, and I was lying on my bed and reading a poem of Hafiz of Shiraz. And as I was about halfway through reading the poem, someone knocked at the door of my hotel room. And I called out, "Come in." And an older man entered the room. I'd never seen him before. And he introduced himself as Francis Brabazon. He was from Australia. And Meher Baba had sent him to the Pune Hotel to connect with me. And he said, "Meher Baba has told me to come here and tell you that he wishes to see you now." So I was overwhelmed with gladness, and I got myself ready as quickly as possible, and Francis and I left in a car driven by a young Indian man and drove all the way to Guru Prasad, about a mile or more away. And it was so beautiful. The whole place, the villa was just heaven. We parked the car, and I made my way up the steps, and as I approached the entrance, there on the lawn was Meher Baba sitting before...
In the reception hall. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
What's at
you
the
walked up.
reception hall?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I thought I had met him outside.
No.
No?
Mm-mm. You walked up the steps with the,
Yeah. Oh, the mind is gone.
walking up the steps, you felt His Holiness.
Lost it.
Okay, so Francis said to take off your shoes as you got out of the car. Yeah.
As I took off my shoes and walked up the steps, Francis was before me. Was it in the reception hall? Oh, I'm sorry for this delay. It's a bit difficult to remember. Dr.
Yes, he walked up the steps and he saw Baba in the chair.
Yes, and, sorry.
And Baba was smiling and beaming.
Oh, Baba was very happy to see me. I stood before him and kissed his hand and knelt before him on an oriental rug. began to ask me about
He
myself.
said, you have no idea.
You have no idea how blessed you are today. You have broken the ice for the East-West gathering.
Mm-hmm.
And
He asked about you. You've been
oh yes, he asked all about me, where I came from whom did I discover him. I mentioned the individual who, the violinist who had told me about him, and he pressed his hand against his heart and closed his eyes and nodded his head, remembering this individual so closely. And he said, then he looked at me quite seriously and said, what of my works have you read? And I said, Baba, I've read so much that you've said that's been printed in English. And he nodded his head and then asked, have you read God Speaks? And I said, yes, Baba, I've read it 3 times. And everyone was quite amazed. Oh. And Baba then looked at me very seriously and said, could you sum up for me in a nutshell the essence of God Speaks? And it went so deeply into my mind, and it came together with such clarity. I said, this is exactly what I said. The whole of creation exists so that the soul can find its way back to you.
Say that again.
The whole of creation exists so that the soul can find its way back to you. Oh, Baba was so happy about the definition. He made certain emotions tenders like this. All the others were quite happy to hear this.
Many more things happen. Do you want to
Tom, can you please speak closer to the microphone, please? Again, we
maybe
can't hear
put
you.
your head like this?
Yes, every moment with him was a fulfillment. And questions and answers went on and on.
You can see, isn't that Tom right? Look, there you are.
Can they see
The
that?
second, yeah,
Oh, yeah,
right
that's
next
it.
to Fred. In the photo,
Second one from
from the front, on the men's side, there's Tom. Right next to Fred Winterfeld.
first row.
Mm. Can you hear that a little? Can you get a little closer? Okay. Yeah.
Just being near him, such a fulfillment.
Mm. So there are so many more stories, but I don't know if you
Where's the list?
would like one more story.
Open again.
Yes, please.
Yeah, the East-West
one
gathering.
story would be good.
I can't see what's coming.
Okay, so the East-West gathering. There is Tom, right in the mustache, right next to Fred Winterfeld in the front row.
On the left. Second one from the left.
In the men's side, of course, there's young Tom next to Fred. Okay, so Tom, the last story would be very good that Baba talked about surrender and effacement.
Oh, yeah.
Mm. Okay, so talking into here.
Well, that was with all the people, but I'll go back a bit now to tell the story about being alone with him.
Mm-hmm.
Francis coming to get me.
Yeah, no, you just told that story.
But I didn't tell about the revelation.
Yeah, that's good about not so much.
All this
So,
did I say about what he said about you sum up fully in a nutshell?
Yes.
The essence of God's.
yes.
Yeah.
Then Baba started to speak about self-effacement and surrender.
Oh yeah, this was so important and so sacred. At one point as I knelt before him, he said,
He began speaking about.
oh yes, he said, have you read God's?
No, sweetie, we told that story. You know, we told the God speaks. So after he began speaking about surrender and self-effacement. And then he said,
you have to love so much. All this world you see around you becomes completely unreal.
Say that again, that's so beautiful.
He said, you have to love so much that all this world you see around you, if he opened his arms and spread them and go out,
I'll hold it so you can show them.
throughout the whole, he said, you have to love so much that all this world you see around you becomes completely unreal. And as he said that,
you have to love so much that all this world you see around you becomes completely unreal.
And as he did that, sacredness filled the entire space, and I heard myself. I threw myself before him, holding his feet, put my head upon his feet, totally lost consciousness. How much time?
I'll louder come.
At one moment, I felt someone helping me up. Turned up, stretched, lifted me, helped me, said, you are so blessed to have been touched by. No one has. I found out in years since anyone. And Father standing in the way, smiling, gestured something to her, then left. I was way alone with walked directly over to me and stood. This actually happened. It was as though just quietly, actually stood before me and asked questions, spoke so clearly that there was no sound, no physical speaking. He stood before me, asked me questions, quietly.
And Francis.
We talked back and forth. He asked questions, responded so naturally. Without even thinking that this is common. Father just so naturally Francis taking back.
That's a wonderful.
That is second.
So you have to love so much that all this world you see around you becomes completely unreal. Baba said to Tom before Tom lost consciousness at Baba's feet. And that was before the beginning of the first day. 2 days, 3 days before the beginning of the East-West gathering. And there are so many more stories, but this is such a gift and an honor for Tom to be able to share these precious memories with all of you in Hyderabad. Thank you.
Absolutely, yes, Cathy. It was so wonderful to hear those episodes. We just wish that the disturbance in the line goes away and we could hear Tom really well. But I think he did his best, and we could gather some part of it. Before you proceed with your songs, can I ask for some time to translate, rather a gist of what Tom has said in Telugu?
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah. Avatar Meher Baba. Yes.
Thank you, Jai Baba.
Yes, I think it will help if you can mute your microphone, Cathy. If you can mute your microphone.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. టామ్ యొక్క ప్రయాణం బాబా గురించి, జై బాబా, బాబా గురించి మొట్టమొదటిసారిగా ఎప్పుడు విన్నారో, అలాగే బాబా గురించి ఎప్పుడు నేర్చుకున్నారో, ఆ తర్వాత బాబా యొక్క దర్శన భాగ్యాలు యొక్క అవకాశం, వీటి గురించి క్లుప్తంగా తెలుసుకుందామండి. 1920 దశకంలో ఆయన వుడ్ స్టాక్, న్యూయార్క్ అనే ప్రాంతంలో ఉండేవారు. తను భారతీయ తత్వశాస్త్రం చదువుకునే రోజుల్లో ఒక న్యూస్ పేపర్ లో యాడ్ ఇవ్వడం జరిగింది. తనకి పార్ట్ టైం గా ఒక ఉద్యోగం. ఆ ఉద్యోగంలో భాగంగా హాలీవుడ్ కి చెందిన ఒక కళాకారులు, ఒక హంగేరియన్ కళాకారులు అండి, తను బాబా హాలీవుడ్ సందర్శించినప్పుడు బాబాని కలిసిన వారు 1930 దశకంలో. అయితే ఈ పార్ట్ టైం పనికి టామ్ ఎప్పుడైతే వెళ్ళడం జరిగిందో, ఆ సమయంలో లైబ్రరీ పుస్తకాలు ప్యాక్ చేసి ఒక బాక్స్ లో పెట్టడానికి సిద్ధం అవుతుంటే ఒక పుస్తకం పైన బాబా ఫోటోగ్రాఫ్ చూశారు. ఆ ఫోటోగ్రాఫ్ చూసి తనపై ప్రశ్నలు తన మనసులో కలిగాయి. దాన్ని అడిగారు, బాబా గురించి చెప్పడం జరిగింది. తర్వాత కాలక్రమంగా కొద్ది రోజులకి ఒక పెద్ద గాడ్ స్పీక్స్ విడుదలైన తర్వాత, ప్రచురణ అయిన తర్వాత బాబా యొక్క పుస్తకం ఉంది అని తర్వాత కనుక్కోవడం జరిగింది. అదే సమయంలో ఆ పుస్తకాన్ని కొని 2 సార్లు ఆయన చదవడం జరిగింది. వారి ప్రొఫెసర్ అయిన డాక్టర్ రాయ్ కూడా ఆయన ఆ ప్రొఫెసర్ చూపించడం, ఆయన కూడా అందులైనప్పటికీ దాన్ని చదివి వినిపించుకోవడం ఎంతో పవిత్రమైన జరిగింది. ఆయన ఒక ప్రసంగంలో గాడ్ స్పీక్స్ గురించి ప్రసంగం ఇస్తే అక్కడ బాబా ప్రేమికులు రావడం, ఫిలిస్ ఫెడరిక్స్ మరొకరు, వాళ్ళందరి ద్వారా న్యూయార్క్ లో బాబా ప్రేమికుల గురించి కలవడం జరిగింది. కాలక్రమంగా 1958 బాబా యొక్క ట్రిప్ మెర్టిల్ బీచ్ కి, బాబా యొక్క ప్రయాణం గురించి తెలిసింది. మెహర్ సెంటర్ లో 225 ప్రేమికులు సమూహం, అమెరికాలో వేరే స్టేట్స్ లో, అదే కాకుండా వేరే దేశాల నుంచి కూడా, పాశ్చాత్య దేశాల నుంచి వచ్చిన వారు కూడా ఉండడం జరిగింది. అక్కడ బాబా క్యాబిన్ లో ఉండగా మొట్టమొదటిసారి ఆయన బాబాని దర్శించుకోవడం జరిగింది. బాబా క్యాబిన్ లోకి వెళ్ళడం, అలాగే బాబా చేతిని ముద్దాడడం, బాబా యొక్క దర్శన భాగ్యాన్ని పొందడం, బాబాతో జరిగిన సంభాషణ గురించి ఈ రకంగా చెప్పారంట. బాబా వారికి ఒక నిర్దేశాన్ని ఇచ్చినట్టు చెప్పారు, కమాండ్మెంట్ అని చెప్పారండి. డోంట్ వర్రీ, ఏమి చింతించదు అనే ఆశ్వాసన. దాని అర్థం ఏంటి ఆయన మనసులో అనుకుంటూనే ఉన్నారు. దాని గురించి ఆలోచిస్తూ ఉంటే నరిమన్ ద్వారా బాబా ఈ రకంగా చెప్పించారంట. ఏంటి, బాబా ఏ రకంగా నన్ను సహాయం చేయగలరు అని మనసులో అనుకుంటుంటే, ఐ విల్ హెల్ప్ యూ, నేను నీకు సహాయం చేస్తాను, నువ్వేమి ఏ రకమైన బాధలు చెందని అవసరం లేదు అన్నట్టుగా ఆయనకు అనిపించింది. అది ఎంతో అద్భుతమైన అనుభూతి ఆయనకి కలిగింది ఆ సందర్భంలో. అలాగే ఆ తర్వాత ఆ మరుసటి రోజు ఆ క్యాబిన్ నుంచి మార్గరెట్ బయటికి వచ్చి బాబా టామ్ రేలేని చూడాలనుకుంటున్నారు, కలవాలనుకుంటున్నారు అనగానే ఆయన క్యాబిన్ కి రావడం, మార్గరెట్ నువ్వు నీ షూస్ అక్కడ విప్పి లోపలికి వెళ్ళమని చెప్పడం. ఆ షూస్ విప్పుతుండగానే ఆయనకి అనిపించిందంట ఏదో ఒక పరివర్తన నాలో చెందుతుంది, ఏదో ఒక దివ్యత్వాన్ని నేను అనుభవించగలుగుతున్నాను అని ఆయనకి ఆ అనుభవం కలిగింది. ఆ అనుభవంతోనే ఆయన క్యాబిన్ లోపలికి వెళ్ళారు. మధ్యలో బాబా ఆశీనులై ఉన్నారు. ఆయన దివ్య మంగళ స్వరూపాన్ని చూసి ఆయన ముగ్ధులయ్యారు. బాబా దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళి బాబా చేతిని ముద్దాడి బాబాని దర్శించుకున్నారు. ఆ తర్వాత ఆ యొక్క అనుభవం మాటలకి వర్ణనాలకి అతీతమని ఆయన చెప్తున్నారని మనకి. బాబాని కలిసిన తర్వాత ఆ తన్మయత్వంలో ఆయన బయటికి వచ్చి ఎంతో దూరం అక్కడి నుంచి తన షూస్ అక్కడ క్యాబిన్ దగ్గర మర్చిపోయి వెళ్ళిపోవడం కూడా జరిగింది. అంత తన్మయత్వం చెందారు ఆయన. అలాగే అదే సందర్భంలో ఎలిజబెత్ కిటీ డేవి బాబా యొక్క వాడిన దుస్తుల్ని ఒక బాస్కెట్ లో తీసుకువెళ్తుంటే అది వారు ఉన్న మండలి సభ్యులు వారు మాట్లాడుకుంటున్నారు. ఏదో సువాసన ఎక్కడి నుంచో వస్తుంది, ఏంటి అంటే బాబా వాడిన దుస్తుల నుంచి అని అడిగారు. వీరందరూ కూడా మొట్టమొదటిసారి అనుభవం కాబట్టి అడిగారంట, బాబా ఏమైనా పర్ఫ్యూమ్, ఏమైనా అత్తరు వాడతారా బాబా, ఇంత అద్భుతమైన సువాసన వస్తుంది అంటే. అది అన్నారంట, ఏంటి బాబా జీవితంలో ఎప్పుడు కూడా ఎటువంటి పర్ఫ్యూమ్ గాని అత్తరు కానీ వాడలేదు, బాబా యొక్క శరీరం యొక్క సహజ సువాసనే ఇది అని చెప్పడం. అదొక దివ్యమైన అనుభూతి. బాబాని కలిసినప్పుడు కూడా ఆ యొక్క సువాసన ఎల్లప్పుడూ కూడా ఆయన అనుభవించిన అవకాశం దక్కింది అని చెప్తున్నారండి. క్రమంగా 1962 ఆయన ఉన్న పరిస్థితుల్లో ఆర్థిక పరిస్థితుల్లో ధనం ఆ ప్రయాణానికి సరిపోక ఆయన షిప్ ప్రయాణం చేసి భారతదేశం రావడం జరిగింది. ముంబై అనుకున్న సమయానికి, ఈస్ట్ వెస్ట్ గ్యాదరింగ్ అనుకున్న సమయానికి 2 వారాలు ముందే రావడం జరిగింది. మెహర్జీ కర్కారియా సహాయంతో ఏదో రకంగా పూనా చేరారు. ఆయన హోటల్ రూమ్ లో ఉండగా ఫ్రాన్సిస్ బ్రాబజాన్ వచ్చి బాబా నిన్ను చూడాలనుకుంటున్నారని చెప్పడం జరిగింది. దానికి ఆయన ఎంతో ఆనందించి త్వరగా రెడీ అయ్యి గురుప్రసాద్ వెళ్ళడం జరిగింది. ఆ మెట్లు ఎక్కి వెళ్తుండగానే ఆయనకి ఆ దివ్యత్వం బయట నుంచే ఆయనకి ఆ యొక్క అనుభవాన్ని పొందారండి. చేతులు ఆటోమేటిక్ గా జోడించి ఆయన బాబా దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళడం జరిగింది. బాబా యొక్క స్వరూపాన్ని చూసి బాబా ఎంతో ఆనందించారంట, నువ్వు నా దగ్గరికి వస్తున్నావని. ఆయన చూసిన తర్వాత బాబా చెప్పిన సంగతి అయితే బాబా ఈ రకంగా ఈ రోజు ద్వారా చెప్పించారండి. బహుశా యూ హ్యావ్ నో ఐడియా హౌ బ్లెస్డ్ యు ఆర్, యూ హ్యావ్ బ్రోకెన్ ద ఐస్ ఫర్ ద ఈస్ట్ వెస్ట్ గ్యాదరింగ్ అని చెప్పడం జరిగింది. దాని పదార్థం ఏంటంటే అండి, నీవు ఎంతో అదృష్టం చేసుకున్నావు ఈ యొక్క దర్శన భాగ్యాన్ని పొంది. ఎందుకంటే అందరూ తర్వాత రావాలి, నువ్వు ముందుగానే వచ్చేసావు, నువ్వు ప్రత్యేకంగా నా యొక్క దర్శనాన్ని పొందావు. నీతో పాటుగానే ఈస్ట్ వెస్ట్ గ్యాదరింగ్ ఈ రకంగా పాశ్చాత్యులకి ఒక నాంది పలికినట్టుగా అయింది అని బాబా తెలియజేయడం జరిగింది. అలాగే అదే దర్శన కార్యక్రమంలో బాబా అదే కలయికలో బాబా అడిగారంట, నువ్వు నా ఏవే ఆ రాతలు ప్రచురితంలో ఉన్న ఇంగ్లీష్ ప్రచురితంగా ఉన్న ఏమేమి చదివే పుస్తకాలు చదివేవేమైనా అంటే ఈయన చెప్పారంట, బాబా నేను గాడ్ స్పీక్స్ 3 సార్లు చదివాను. అవునా అని బాబా సంతోషించి అడిగారంట, దాన్ని యొక్క సారాంశం ఏంటి, నువ్వు 3 సార్లు చదివావు కదా, దాని సారాంశం ఏంటి అంటే అద్భుతంగా ఈయన సమాధానం చెప్పారండి. బాబా దాన్ని విని ఎంతో ఆనందించారంట. ఇలాగ 2 చేతులతోటి చిరుముద్రలు చేస్తూ బాబా సౌజ్ఞ చేస్తున్నట్టుగా ఆయన చెప్పారు. ఇప్పుడు చూస్తున్న ఫోటోగ్రాఫ్ లో మనం మొదటి రోలో 2వ వ్యక్తి అనుకుంటానండి, బహుశా టామ్ రేలే ఆయన కూర్చుని ఉండగా మనం చూసే అవకాశం కలిగింది. అయితే ఇంతకీ బాబా ఈయన సారాంశం ఏం చెప్పారు అంటే, గాడ్ స్పీక్స్ లో ఉన్నది, ఈ సృష్టి అంతా కూడా ఒక జీవాత్మ యొక్క తిరుగు ప్రయాణం, భగవంతుణ్ణి అంటే బాబాని చేరుకోవడానికి తన యొక్క తిరుగు ప్రయాణం గురించే ఈ సృష్టి ఆవిర్భవించింది అని చెప్పడంతో బాబా ఎంతో విని కరెక్ట్ గా చెప్పేవన్నట్టుగా సంతోషించారండి. అలాగే బాబా సమర్పణ గురించి టామ్ ముందుగా ఈ రకంగా చెప్పడం జరిగింది, యూ హ్యావ్ టు లవ్ మీ సో మచ్ దట్ ఆల్ ఇన్ ద వరల్డ్ వుడ్ బికమ్ కంప్లీట్లీ అన్రియల్ అని. అంటే దీని తాత్పర్యం ఏంటి అంటే, నువ్వు నన్ను ఏ స్థాయిలో ప్రేమించాలి అంటే నీ చుట్టుపక్కల ఉన్న నీ ప్రపంచం అంతా కూడా అవాస్తవికంగా మారిపోవాలి, అంటే లేనట్టుగానే ఉండాలి. ఒక వ్యక్తి ప్రేమలో ఉంటే ఆ తన్మయత్వంలో ఏది పరిసరాల్ని మర్చిపోతారో ఆ స్థాయికి ఎన్నో రెట్లు పైకి అన్నట్టు చెప్పినట్టుగా బాబా చెప్పడం జరిగిందండి. అలాగా ఆ తర్వాత ఆయన అది వినడంతో ఆయన బాబా పాదాలపై వాలి ఎంతో సమయం గడిపారంట. ఆయనకి సమయం తెలియలేదు. ఈరోజు వచ్చి సహాయంతో పైకి లేపితేనే కానీ ఆయనకి తెలియదు. తర్వాత ఈరోజు ఈ రకంగా అన్నారంట, నువ్వు ఎంత అదృష్టం చేసుకున్నావో నీకు తెలియదు. బాబా యొక్క పాదాల్ని తాకడం అనేది ఎవరికి పర్మిషన్ లేదు, కానీ నీకు ఇది జరిగింది. అలాగా ఈ 3 రోజుల ముందు ఈస్ట్ వెస్ట్ గ్యాదరింగ్ మొదలయ్యే ముందు ఈ అద్భుతమైన అవకాశం టామ్ కి బాబా ప్రసాదించడం జరిగిందని మనతోటి దాన్ని సాక్షాత్తు ఆయన పంచుకున్నారు. अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। संक्षिप्त में टॉम के जो अनुभव रहे हैं उनको सुनते हैं। इन्होंने 1920वीं दशताब्दी में एक हंगेरियन हॉलीवुड कलाकार के द्वारा बाबा के बारे में सुना। इन्होंने उनके घर पे काम करते हुए एक फोटोग्राफ देखा और इनको लगा कि यह व्यक्ति बहुत ही दिव्य स्वरूपी है और इनके बारे में जाने। इस तरह उन्हें पहली बार बाबा के बारे में सुना। इसके बाद एक बुक स्टोर में इन्होंने गॉड स्पीक्स का एक बड़ा सा पोस्टर देखा और उन्होंने उसके बाद वो किताब को खरीदा और पढ़ा भी। 2 बार तब तक वे ये पुस्तक पढ़ चुके थे। उसके द्वारा डॉक्टर रॉय, जिनको एक प्रोफेसर थे उनके स्कूल में, उनके द्वारा इन्होंने न्यूयॉर्क में बाबा प्रेमियों के बारे में जाना। और इस तरह से जब 1958 में बाबा मर्टल बीच पहुंचे, उनका वहां जा पहुंचना हुआ। 225 लोगों के बीच, बाबा प्रेमियों के बीच इनको एक ये सदवकाश मिला। इन्होंने बाबा का दर्शन उनके कैबिन में लिया और बाबा ने उनको मौन में ही आश्वासन दिया, डोंट वरी, चिंता मत करो। और ये सुनने के बाद बाबा का दर्शन करने के बाद वो वहां से जाने लगे और मन ही मन में सोचने लगे, चिंता मत करो, ये तो ठीक है, पर बाबा किस तरह मेरी सहायता करेंगे, ये मन में सोच ही रहे थे। जब बाबा ने नरीमन को बुलवाया और कहा कि देखो, उन्हें कहो कि आई विल हेल्प यू। सो इस तरह से उनको ये आश्वासन, जो मन ही मन में जो आश्वासन मिला, इससे वो बहुत प्रभावित हुए, बहुत प्रसन्नित हुए। उसके बाद एक और अगले दिन इनको फिर से बाबा का दर्शन का सौभाग्य प्राप्त हुआ। इनको मार्गरेट पास ने अंदर बुलवाया। इन्होंने जूते बाहर निकाले और अंदर गए और जब बाबा का दिव्य स्वरूप देखा तो इतने भावुक हो गए वो कि वो बाबा के हाथ पकड़े और बाबा के हाथ को चूमा। और जो वर्णनातीत जो अनुभव रहा, उसके बाद वो कैबिन से बाहर आ गए। और जैसे वो जिस तरह की भावना उनकी थी, उसमें उनको कुछ भी याद न रहा और वो चलते गए, अपने जूते वहीं भूल गए कैबिन के पास और कहीं दूर चलते गए। इसके बाद अगले दिन का शायद एक और अनुभव इनके ये मिला कि एक लॉन्ड्री बास्केट में किटी देवी बाबा के जो वस्त्र थे वो पकड़े हुई थी और अजीब सा जो सुवासन है, वो सुवासन वहां से आ रहा था। तो इन सब पूछ रहे थे कि बाबा का कौन सा परफ्यूम है जो जिससे इस तरह की जो सुगंधित ये है वो आ रही है। तो उनसे आदि काका ने कहा उस समय पे, देखिए बाबा के शरीर का स्वाभाविक सुवासन है, ये सुगंध जो है वो बाबा के शरीर से ही आती है। ऐसे इनका अनुभव रहा। उसके बाद ईस्ट वेस्ट गैदरिंग में वे नौका से प्रयाण करते हुए 2 हफ्ते पहले ही बॉम्बे पहुंचे, भारत आ पहुंचे। मेहर जी करकाया की सहायता से वे पूना में आए और होटल में रुकने लगे। और जैसे वे रुके थे, ये उनके मिलने के ईस्ट वेस्ट गैदरिंग के 3 दिन पहले की बात है, जब फ्रांसिस बाबजान को बाबा ने भेजा और कहा कि जाओ टॉम को यहाँ ले आओ, बाबा उनसे मिलना चाहते हैं। तो इस तरह उनके पास बाबा ने खुद उन्हें बुलाया और कहा कि देखो, तुम्हें जिस तरह का ये सौभाग्य प्राप्त हुआ है, ये तुम हमें ये तुम इसकी अंचना तुम नहीं लगा सकते। ईस्ट वेस्ट गैदरिंग की जो नांदी है वो तुम्हारे साथ हुई है, ऐसा बाबा ने कहा। इसके बाद बाबा ने गॉड स्पीक्स उनको, जब इन्होंने कहा कि गॉड स्पीक्स मैंने 3 बार पढ़ी है, बाबा ने पूछा कि उसका सारांश बताओ। उसका सारांश इन्होंने अद्भुत रूप से बताया, जिससे सुनकर बाबा अति प्रसन्न हुए। सारांश यह बताया उन्होंने कि देखिए, जो जीवात्मा की जो सफर है अपने प्रभु के पास पहुंचने की, वापस पहुंचने की, उस सफर के लिए ही ये सारी सृष्टि की आवृत्ति हुई। ऐसा उन्होंने अद्भुत समाधान दिया, जिसे सुनकर बाबा बहुत ही प्रसन्न हुए। इसके तद अनंत बाद बाबा ने समर्पण के बारे में अपना संदेश बताते हुए इन्हें बताया, देखिए कि समर्पण और प्रेम इस तरह की होनी चाहिए, स्थायी में होनी चाहिए कि तुम मुझे इतनी गाढ़ तरह से प्रेम करो कि देखिए आपके आसपास जो भी है वो सब अवास्तविक हो जाए। जिस तरह से एक प्रेमी को अपनी सुध बुध खो जाते हैं कि सारा आसपास का विश्व उन्हें दिखाई नहीं देता और उससे मतलब नहीं रहता, उसी प्रकार जब एक व्यक्ति ईश्वर को इतने स्थाई में प्रेम करते हैं, उनके लिए यह सृष्टि नहीं रहती। इस तरह का इन्होंने वहां बाबा के सामने वो समर्पण के बारे में संदेश मिला। यह सुन के वो बाबा के पैरों पर जा पड़े हुए और काफी देर तक वहां रुके। इरिच की सहायता से फिर वो उठाए और इरिच ने उसके बाद में उन्हें सुनाया कि देखिए बाबा के चरण स्पर्श की परमिशन नहीं थी, पर आप इतने भाग्यशाली हैं कि आपको यह अनुभव मिला। यह अनुभव ये 3 दिन पहले ईस्ट गैदरिंग से जो थी, ये अद्भुत अंश हमने टॉम रेले के द्वारा यहाँ सुने। आइए अब कैथी से कुछ गाने सुनते हैं। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। Thank you so much for your patience, Cathy. Over to you for a few songs. Cathy, please go ahead and present your songs, please.
Was that Hindi or Telugu?
The second language was Hindi. We spoke in, we gave the Christian Telugu before that.
Telugu?
Yes, Telugu first and then
Hindi. Okay. Oh, wonderful. I could hear I understood the English part. It's so nice to be able to share Baba's music with you. I would like to start with a song that was beloved of the Kerawalas and the Jesawalas, particularly Dhun, Sata, and Roshan, Kerawala, and Mera, and Dolly, whom I've had the good fortune of being good friends with. And one of the songs that they love is called I Walk with the King. And as we think about Mera Arjani and her journeys, I would like to thank her, Mera, Dolly, Sam and Roshan, and Eric Merwan, the whole wonderful family, for years of loving service to him that inspired us so much. So, Dhun said once she was with Baba, and he said he wanted her to go to the Sarosh canteen to see a movie, and as it rained lightly and she took Mayor Baba's arm in Ahmednagar, she walked with the king. In sorrow I wander, my spirit of rest, but now I am happy, securely I rest, from morning till evening, glad carols I sing, and this is the reason I walk with the King. I walk with the King, Meher Baba. I walk with the King, praise His name. No longer I roam, my soul faces home. I walk and I talk with the King. For He is the fetter of sin I was bound. The world could not help me, no of spring. I'm free and rejoicing. I walk with the King. I walk with the King, Merhaba. I walk with the King, praise his name. No longer I grow, my soul praises God. I walk and I talk with the King. Oh, so near despair, in the lowlands of strife, look up and let Father come into your life. The joy of salvation to you he would bring. Look up the sunlight and walk with the King. I walk with the King, Merhaba. I walk with the King, praise his name. No longer I roam, my soul faces home. I walk and I talk with the King. I walk and I talk with the King. That's a song that reminds me of Baba so much, as we used to sit with Dhun at Akbar Press, and Ahmednagar, and Mara would come, and Dolly, Sam, and Roshan. What a wonderful day. And they would share their stories of being Baba. Another song that Mara and the family love, thinking of Mara now in her journey, Mara Arjani. When troubles surround us, when evil comes, the body grows weak, the spirit grows numb. When these things beset us, he does not forget us. He sends down his love on the wings of a dove, on the wings of a snow white dove. He sends his pure, sweet love, a sign from above, on the wings of a dove. When Noah had drifted on the flood many days, he searched for land in various ways. Troubles he had some, but he was not forgotten. He sent down his love on the wings of a dove, on the wings of a snow white dove. He sends his pure, sweet love, a sign from above, on the wings of a dove. when Jesus went down to the waters that day, he was baptized in the usual way. And when it was done, God blessed his son. He sent down his love on the wings of a dove, on the wings of a snow white dove. He sends his pure, sweet love, a sign from above, on the wings of a dove. When God looked down on the world one day, he said they need love so badly that may have Father I will become, so that the whole world's desire will at long last be won. On the wings of a snow white dove, he sends his pure, sweet love, a sign from above, on the wings of a dove. Thank you, Baba. Oh, yes. What a wonderful remembrance it has been to be given so much love through Mara, Dolly, Sam Roshan, Marwa and Erich, Dottie, and all the aunties and uncles. What a gift, what a gift. So now I would love to share an Indian song that Mara, Big Mara, as Mara and Johnny used to say, Big Mara used to ask me to learn some Indian songs, and this is one that I particularly love. Big Mara told me that this was heard by Mayor Baba when he was in Dehradun, and Mara said that they were on a balcony, and saw some street boys singing this song. And it says, you know, the words say in the Gita, you said, Krishna, that you would come back in the Kali Yuga, but why have you not come before us? And of course, there was Baba back again, twinkling and looking at Mara and the ladies sharing their wonderful secret. Yare Krishna, Krishna ne, dil to mera har liya. Yare Krishna, Krishna ne, Krishna, Krishna, मैं पुकारूं तेरे घर के सामने. Krishna, Krishna, मैं पुकारूं तेरे घर के सामने. गीत में वादा किया था आऊंगा कलयुग में. गीत में वादा किया था आऊंगा कलयुग में. अब क्यों नहीं आते हो भगवान आज हमारे सामने. अब क्यों नहीं आते हो भगवान आज हमारे सामने. दिल तो मेरा हालिया यारे मेहर बाबा ने दिल तो मेरा हालिया यारे मेहर बाबा ने बाबा बाबा मैं पुकारूं तेरे घर के सामने बाबा बाबा मैं पुकारूं तेरे घर के सामने.
Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. It was lovely to hear you sing the Hindi song, Cathy. Thank you so much.
Yes.
It was wonderful to have you as well as Tom on the Sahavas today. I'm sure all Baba Love viewers would love to have you again. Hopefully this time with lesser of those static noise to hear more of your songs and talk. Thank you so much.
Sorry, say that again.
I was just saying, I think it will be wonderful to have yourself and Tom again sometime on the online Sahavas.
Oh, thank you.
On behalf of the Baba family, thank you once again, and
thank you.
Yeah.
Tom. I'm finding my husband. Tom.
That's fine, Cathy.
Yeah, okay.
Let him relax. Thank you so much. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Over to you, Brother Santosh.
Jai Baba.
Thank you.
Now we will be watching the film My Dear Children, message given by beloved Baba in the East-West Gathering 1962. And this is Baba's message about watching him through the medium of film. If people who have not seen me personally see me through the medium of film, it will help in the process of liberating them from the bondage of Maya. నన్ను వ్యక్తిగతంగా చూడని వ్యక్తులు ఈ చలనచిత్ర మాధ్యమం ద్వారా నన్ను చూస్తే అది మాయ యొక్క బంధనం నుండి వారిని విముక్తి చేసే ప్రక్రియలో సహాయపడుతుంది.
You're coming to me from different places and from across oceans has pleased me. And although no sacrifice to be near me is too great, I am touched by the sacrifice that some of you have made to come here. Those who have not been able to come to me should not feel disheartened, for my love is with them as always, and especially so at this time. I know how they are longing to be near me, even for an hour, and how helpless they are in their circumstances. You have come from great distances, not for some convention or conference, but to enjoy my company and feel afresh my love in your hearts. It is the coming together of East and West in the house of their Father. All religions of the world proclaim that there is but one God, the Father of all in creation. I am that Father. I have come to remind all people that they should live on earth as the children of the one Father, until my grace awakens them to the realization that they are all one without a second, and that all divisions, conflict and hatred are but a shadow play of their own ignorance. Although all are my children, they ignore the simplicity and beauty of this truth by indulging in hatreds, conflicts and wars that divide them in enmity instead of living as one family in their Father's house. Even amongst you who love me and accept me for what I am, there is sometimes lack of understanding of one another's hearts. Patiently have I suffered these things in silence for all my children. It is time that they become aware of the presence of their Father in their midst and of their responsibility towards Him and themselves. I shall break my silence and with my word of words arouse my children to realize in their lives the indivisible existence which is God. Throughout the years, I have been giving many messages and discourses. Today, I simply want to tell you who are gathered here in my love to shut the ears of your minds and open the ears of your hearts to hear my word when I utter it. Do not seek my blessing, which is always with you, but long for the day when my grace will descend on all who love me. Most blessed are they who do not even long for my grace, but simply seek to do my will.
Now, beloved Baba's Naam Dhun. Let us observe silence for a few moments. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Now prayers and Arti.
O Almighty God, the preserver and protector of all, you are without beginning and without end, non-dual, beyond comparison, and none can measure you. You are without color, without expression, without form, and without attributes. You are unlimited and unfathomable, beyond imagination and conception, eternal and imperishable. You are indivisible, and none can see you but with eyes divine. You always were, you always are, and you always will be. You are everywhere, you are in everything, and you are also beyond everywhere and beyond everything. You are in the firmament and in the depths. You are manifest and unmanifest, on all planes and beyond all planes. You are in the three worlds and also beyond the three worlds. You are imperceptible and independent. You are the Creator, the Lord of Lords, the knower of all minds and hearts. You are omnipotent and omnipresent. You are knowledge infinite, power infinite, and bliss infinite. You are the ocean of knowledge, all-knowing, infinitely knowing, the knower of the past, the present, and the future, and you are knowledge itself. You are all-merciful and eternally benevolent. You are the soul of souls, the one with infinite attributes. You are the Trinity of truth, knowledge, and bliss. You are the source of truth, the ocean of love. You are the Ancient One, the highest of the high. You are Prabhu and Parameshwar. You are the Beyond God and the Beyond God also. You are Parabrahma, Allah, Ilahi, Yastan, Ahura Mazda, and God the Beloved. You are named Isa, the only one worthy of worship. We repent, O God, most merciful, for all our sins, for every thought that was false or unjust or unclean, for every word spoken that ought not to have been spoken, for every deed done that ought not to have been done. We repent for every deed and word and thought inspired by selfishness, and for every deed and word and thought inspired by hatred. We repent most specially for every lustful thought and every lustful action, for every lie, for all hypocrisy, for every promise given but not fulfilled, and for all slander and backbiting. Most especially also we repent for every action that has brought ruin to others, for every word and deed that has given others pain, and for every wish that pain should befall others. In your unbounded mercy, we ask you to forgive us, O God, for all these sins committed by us, and to forgive us for our constant failures to think and speak and act according to your will. Beloved God, help us all to love you more and more, and more and more, and still yet more, till we become worthy of union with you, and help us all to hold fast to Baba's daman till the very end. Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai.
हुआ लहर से ही है जिसकी सृष्टि का निर्माण, उसकी दैवी अनंतता का कैसे हो अनुमान। आदि सचेतन शांति निकेतन, आदि सचेतन शांति निकेतन, नमो ब्रह्म आओ मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ, मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ, मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ। प्रेम दीप मैं ही जलाऊं, प्रेम दीप मैं ही जलाऊं, निभिड़ अंधेरा मिटता पाऊं, निभिड़ अंधेरा मिटता पाऊं। अपना सब कुछ तुम्हें चढ़ाऊं, अपना सब कुछ तुम्हें चढ़ाऊं, तुम मुझको सरसाओ मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ, मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ, मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ। जीवन की हर सांस हमारी, जीवन की हर सांस हमारी बन जाए प्रभु गति तुम्हारी, बन जाए प्रभु गति तुम्हारी। हे करुणा कर लीलाधारी, हे करुणा कर लीलाधारी, तुम करुणा बरसाओ मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ, मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ, मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ। बने आरती जीवन मेरा, बने आरती जीवन मेरा, आदि अंत का लय हो घेरा, आदि अंत का लय हो घेरा। खुले नयन सचेतन शांति निकेतन आदि सचेतन शांति निकेतन नमो ब्रह्म आओ मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।